So good morning everyone. Today we are going to see what to learn to become a full stack web developer. So first of all, you guys may be wondering, who is a full stack web developer? Here's the answer. A full stack web developer must know how to create and maintain the front end and the back end of the web application, and must also be proficient with various languages used to develop a web application. A full stack development involves developing and designing the following layers. The first layer is front end layer, back end layer, and the last layer is database layer. So now let's look into the front end layer. So our front end layer helps you interact with web, watch videos, perform actions like register to an online shopping site. So basically the design, look and feel of the web is accomplished with the help of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's talk a bit about the front end technologies. Being proficient in languages like HTML, CSS and JavaScript is the most basic requirement for becoming a full stack web developer. So now let's look into the first language, HTML. HTML is a skeleton of every web page. By using HTML, you tell the browser how you want the content to be structured by defining the different parts of the web page. The second one is CSS. CSS is used for styling the HTML elements. It provides thousands of styling functions which are used to style the HTML elements defined by us. So the last one is JavaScript. JavaScript is a scripted language used to make the web look for alive. All the motions and graphics that you see on the website is done by using JavaScript. So now we are going to see about the JavaScript frameworks. So having knowledge about HTML, CSS and JavaScript is not at all enough. The websites and web applications these days have integrated, complex and interactive user interface designs which attracts more audience. To accomplish this, it is necessary to know the various JavaScript frameworks and libraries like Angular, React, Nodejs and jQuery and many of that. There are hundreds of JavaScript frameworks that will help you with the web development, but it's often confusing to choose among so many well-versed frameworks. We have to choose which one is right for our web application. So now let's talk about the backend. So the backend forms a dynamic connection between the front end and the database. To get this layer working, it's important to know at least one of the programming languages such as Python, Java, PHP, Ruby and many more. And the knowledge of server-side frameworks such as Nodejs is very important. So now let's talk about the very known language, Python. As everyone knows, Python is an open source object-oriented programming language that was released in 1991, and ever since it has become one of the favorite language of most software and the web developers. And again, a famous language, Java. Java is a high-level programming language which was released by Sun Microsystems in 1996. So it follows the write once run anywhere approach that makes it compatible to run on any platform. So PHP. So many of the web developers use PHP. Since it's one of the open source server-side scripting language used to develop the backend logic of the application, it is a powerful tool for making dynamic and interactive websites. So the last one is Node.js. Node.js is an open source JavaScript framework used specifically for creating the backend or the server side of the application. Through Node.js, JavaScript can be now finally run on the server side of the web. So now let's talk about the database layer. The database layer is a massive warehouse of information. It contains a database repository which captures and stores information from the front end through the back end. We need to have knowledge how the data is stored, edited and retrieved, etc. And understanding of the database such as MySQL, MongoDB is a must. So now let's look into the popular database, MySQL. MySQL is an open source relational database management system that provides multi-user access and supports multi-storage engines. The second one is MongoDB. It is known for its ease of use and its quickness in handling large amount of data. It is an open source, object-oriented, NoSQL database which is highly scalable and is efficient in handling unstructured data. So now these are all the languages you must be learning to become a web developer. So now the question is how to learn these languages. Let's get right into it. So yeah, the first thing you have to do is choose a learning platform. There are a lot of videos and learning platforms available on the internet helping the students. But my personal suggestion will be Udemy. They provide a lot of great content out there. And next thing is practice. The best way to do this practice is recreating any one of the existing web application in the market. This will prove your skill to the next level, and you can start out the path of becoming a web developer. So yeah, the job market is getting tougher. The more traditional jobs are phased out every day. So why not learn a skill that will keep you employed or maybe possibly wealthy for the future? So yeah, that's the biggest advantage of the web development. The great part is you don't need a fancy expensive degree to get into this field. So why are we just wasting our time? Now it's time to take action and show the world what an awesome web developer you can be. Yeah, thanks for watching the video.